You ready, Jay? Let's do it. Okay, first of all, welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you for spending your Saturday afternoon with us,
Thank you for having
knuckleheads.
me.
We're just thrilled that we have another representation of just will and grit and determination in the
Mhm.
African American women that lives in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And
Yes.
you, Miss Lawanda Crawford, can you give us your name, maybe some background about yourself, how you become attached to the Sister Network Dallas organization?
Okay. My name is Lawanda Crawford. I currently hold the position as Vice President of Sisters Network Dallas. I am also a healthcare provider. I'm a family nurse practitioner. I have been in practice about 7 years. And I am also a 6 year breast cancer survivor. And so that is how I became in touch with Sisters Network Dallas, just looking for a foundation, a resource, so other women that had the same journey that I have had to connect with. And
That's
so
good.
I have found that family and that home with Sisters Network Dallas.
That's good. Was it organic? Meaning, did you run into someone and they tell you about this, or I know you say you were searching for it, but did the connection come from you? Were you on Google? Like, what did that look like?
Actually, I got the name from a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I was campaigning once a year during October for breast cancer awareness, I was selling t-shirts. A friend of mine started selling t-shirts in little cups that had my image on it. And so on anybody that brought a cup or a t-shirt, part of those proceeds, she decided to give it to Sisters Network Dallas. And so that is
Oh,
how I initially heard about them and became involved.
wow. Okay, so word of mouth still exists. For those
Yes.
out there in the world that don't believe in that, we're coming from the social media guy, by the way. But word of mouth still exists, which is good. I mean,
Yes.
uh, has that been consistent with your experience right now in the organization? Do you feel like that kind of homely touch is what's happening inside the organization right now, or do you think it's going a different way? Tell me more about that.
I think word of mouth is still number one.
Yeah.
That's how we're able to make it personalized and reach out to one another. I think here lately we have all became in touch with somebody, whether it's a family member or a friend that has been touched by breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an unfortunate situation. But I think through word of mouth and knowing that and seeing firsthand how more people are becoming with this cancerous disease, that it's allowing us to talk more about it.
Yeah. Yeah. What's gotten you here? Meaning, um, you're very comfortable. It seems like having this conversation and talking about the impact cancer has on you. But tell us about how you got to this confidence. Maybe give us your background about your cancer journey, if you don't mind.
Well, for me, when I was first diagnosed, I never was angry about it. I never asked God why. I just wanted to know whenever it came to me, what am I supposed to do with this information? What kind of platform am I supposed to have? And so, as I went through my journey and towards the end, and then also being a, a, a healthcare provider,
Mm-hmm.
I was, what's the word I'm looking for? I was the one making the decisions on telling women to go and get their mammograms,
Mm-hmm.
or providing that education while I'm seeing them in the clinic. And so I'm like, okay, I think this is my niche. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to bring awareness. I'm supposed to encourage. I'm supposed to be an inspiration and motivate other women. And so I just went from there and it just skyrocketed. And so that's what I've continued to do year after year.
Yeah. Is that so? Which is phenomenal story right there, because that's important, right? To have something very traumatic happen to you,
Hmm.
and then somehow you transition that into
Yeah.
helping others. That's not a natural,
Right. And not
right?
knowing in the very beginning, like I said, what am I supposed to do with this
There
information?
you go.
I have breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for this. And so this is my purpose. And this is my goal.
Yeah, very, very awesome. Again, most people try to go the other route, right? They
Hmm.
say, "Oh, woe is me," and you're showing here that there's hope. So that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the young women that's looking at this that maybe just got diagnosed and they're young and they don't even know where to go with this, right?
Correct.
What would you say in that moment? I know that you said you're not going to be free. But what was the thing that happened to you in that moment that made you make that choice?
I've always wanted to help others. You know, I come from a family of caregivers. And for me, I never thought in a million years that I would have breast cancer. And so in that moment when I was diagnosed and at the age that I was diagnosed, and I'm like, surely I can't be the only one diagnosed in their 40s. There's some women diagnosed in their 30s. So what can I do? What's my part in this? Yeah.
That's good. I mean,
and so that made it very clear and that made it very easy.
So naturally, that's just what you guys do.
Oh, most definitely. Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is good. I mean, there's someone out here watching this that doesn't even know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't know that there's people that actually have a passion like you to support people on their journey, let alone an entire organization of copycats like you that would do the same thing.
Right.
So this is very important. And it is, going into the campaign a little bit, Breast Friends Forever, it's a way to attach all that together and tie that all in together. Do you find it important to make sure that's a congruent narrative across the board, is to show that we do support, the young group of women that are out there that are just trying to get their message across?
Yes, because our main goal is to save lives and to provide education. We want to inspire. We want to be a source of emotional support. And all of that helps us build those relationships. Unfortunately, we have the one common denominator, which is breast cancer, but still we need to show that we're there for each other. A lot of women may not be aware that we even exist and that we're here and that all the different types of resources that we provide. So building those relationships is what's most important.
Well, let's talk about that. You've been on both sides of the org, right? Been a member, and now you're a leading part of the organization as the vice president. And if you had to tally up your experience in both, what has been the number one resource that you leaned on that you realize the organization is good for this?
The emotional support. Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
For me personally, my emotions were on a roller coaster. Because a lot of us, when you start going through treatment, you're forced into menopause, which of course we know those hormones are like this. One day you could be crying, one day you could be fine, next day you're kind of melancholy. You just, it's a lot of stuff going on. And having those conversations with family members or your caregivers can sometimes be a little challenging because you don't think that they understand everything that you're going through. So being able to lean on someone that has going through the same thing has definitely been a blessing because they're able to also share information on the things that they've done to kind of help ease some of those symptoms. And so I think that's also what Sisters Network is about. Of course, we help in other ways, but for me, having that emotional support has been most beneficial.
Yeah, that's phenomenal to hear. Once again, there's people paying attention, right?
Yes.
And they don't know that this exists, so to know exactly where you can step in and be of help and be an example of that 1,000 times better, right? So,
yes.
Kind of wrapping up, I'll say, first of all, once again, thank you guys for being a beacon the entire time, really showing your light to these folks and giving them an option.
Yes.
But some final thoughts would be, hey, what do you foresee Sisters Network being for Dallas-Fort Worth in the next 3 to 5 years? How do you see this continuing on and growing?
Our cause is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
We're going to be number one in Dallas with being able to provide a safe haven for African-American women that are going through breast cancer, that have gone through breast cancer, and our caregivers.
why is it important to have a caregiver? And then can you tell me your experience about having, say, somebody who had your back the whole time?
Oh, my caregiver saved my life. I needed that support. It was important for me to have them there with me when I was going through my treatments. To be able to look out and there's somebody sitting right here beside me. That was important. Yeah.
What is a caregiver?
A trusted family or friend. Someone that cares about you. Someone that is there for you as a support system, emotional support, and even financial when you need it.
Any final thoughts? Anything that you had to get across that you want to get across?
I just want everyone to know that you're not alone. If you're in this fight and if you're going through this journey, you're not alone. Reach out. We're here for you. We're here to support you in any way that we can. And if we cannot find the answer, we know someone who does. And so as Sisters Network continue to grow and evolve throughout the years, hopefully we'll continue to get the support from the community to where we're able to give more back to the community.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You